Welcome back to Positive Talk Daily. We're looking at another inexpensive Samsung phone from AT&T prepaid. This is the Galaxy A15 5G. This is a 1080p 90 hertz refresh rate. We're looking at One UI 6.0, or depending on when you buy this phone, it might have 7.0 or 8.0. We're looking at 4 years of software updates, so all the way to Android 18. Camera, triple camera setup, 50 megapixel, 5 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel micro, and 13 megapixel micro front facing camera, capable of 1080p 30 frames per second. You can get 8 gigs of RAM or 4 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage or 64 gigs of storage. There's even a 256 gig model, 5G, Bluetooth 5.0, and a 5,000 milliamp hour battery that's non-removable. So is this a good phone to purchase from AT&T prepaid? We're going to talk about that today on Positive Talk Daily, home for Positive Talk. Welcome back to Tech Corner. My name is Mr. Positive. We're on YouTube at Mr. Positive Live. Click on the bell icon, get notified when I go live or post new videos. We are taking a look at another inexpensive AT&T prepaid smartphone from AT&T prepaid. This is a Samsung Galaxy A15 5G. Now, it's been out almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in February. Came out in 2023. But it's still a very good phone overall. Going over the dimensions of the Samsung Galaxy A15 5G, we're getting a 6.5-inch Super AMOLED display. It's 1080p, which is nice to see. 800 nits of brightness, so we can't complain too much there. You are getting a triple camera setup, 50 megapixel standard camera, 5 megapixel ultra wide, and you do get a 2 megapixel micro camera. Again, 2 megapixel micro camera is trash. No, not sure why these companies think putting a 2 megapixel makes any sense, but whatever. It's there. You do get scratch resistant glass. Doesn't state what kind of glass resistance, but you do get it. You do get a 13 megapixel front facing camera, which is capable of 1080p 30 frames per second on all cameras across the board on the phone. You do get 64 gigs of internal storage. You may want to invest into a micro SD card. We'll go into details why in just a few minutes. You do get super fast charging with a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. This has 25 watt fast charging. So it doesn't give you the charger in the box, but it does claim you do get 25 watts, period. Fingerprint sensor and face recognition. So you can unlock the phone based on face recognition. It's good to see. And for some reason, it states 2025 model. There is no 2025 model. The A16 5G would be this phone's replacement. The A17, which just came out in October, which we'll get our hands on in January. Now, again, AT&T has the largest nationwide network for 5G coverage. You can check it out at AT&T.com. Let's take a look at the phone now here at Mr. Positive Live. Now, basically, this is a phone that will give you 4 years of software updates thanks to Samsung and Google. Now, looking at the phone, you are getting a 6.5-inch Super AMOLED display that's 1080p, and it's 88% body to screen ratio, or screen to body ratio, however you say that. You will get NFC on board. Your toggles are going to be a little bit different here with Samsung's One UI 7. There's already One UI 8. But this will get another 2 or 3 years of software updates, so it's kind of nice to see that coming from Samsung. And if you go down the other side, you get your notifications, kind of like an iPhone setup there. You go down this side, you get your notifications, you click on this side, bring it down, you get your toggles. So similar, pretty much 90 hertz refresh rate on this phone. You're running the it's the MediaTek Dimensity 6100 Plus. That's the same chipset that's found in the Motivate 2 Pro 5G, and also the same chipset that's in the original Motivate Pro. So you're going to get the same chipset, but you're only getting 90 hertz refresh rate, but it's still very snappy for 90 hertz. Samsung has done some modifications to the device. Now, unlike the A14 from 2023 or 2022, you're going to get an AMOLED display, so it's much sharper, much brighter. Blacks look better, so it's a much better overall display. And you know, that 90 hertz refresh rate isn't bad at all. No stereo speakers on this device. You're getting a standard mono speaker. 5,000 mAh battery gives you all day of battery life. And you will get Android 15 and Android 16 and until about Android 18. So very good. You'll get One UI 8, which just came out for this in October. Should be good. Should be rolling out for most phones very soon. I saw my update for it. We'll work on that. Now, the question is this phone really worth purchasing on AT&T, even though it's a 2-year-old phone now? It'll be 2 years in February. The question is, yes, you're getting the same chipset on this device as you would on the basically the Moto V2 Pro 5G. And, you're going to get the same chipset, and you're going to get longer software updates. This is why I said going with something like this is better than going with the Moto V2 Pro. Now, the Moto V2 Pro is a very, very good phone, very stable device, and it runs the same chipset, but you're getting 120 hertz refresh rate versus this. But you won't really notice that. You really won't notice that on this from that phone to this phone. They're both very, very capable devices. Now, if you're tired of your phone running a bit slow, you can download a Pixel Launcher on the Google Play Store, which I think speeds up the device. Now, the problem with the Samsung Galaxy A15 5G is you're getting only 64 gigs of internal storage. That could be a problem because a lot of apps are going to be a bit sluggish. You may notice a little bit more in the way of sluggishness when it comes to because of the storage. Now, you do get RAM boost, but RAM boost also slows your phone down over time. So you want to be careful how you use RAM boost. But both of these phones are capable. Now, this one has 6 gigs of RAM. This has 4 gigs. So there's kind of a side topic there. This phone's only going to give you an IPS panel. It is 720p. This is giving you 1080p, AMOLED display, mono speakers, stereo speakers on here, and you are getting slightly faster charging. I think the A15 is a better phone if you can get the 128 gig model. We'll get the 64 gig model. But overall, I mean, the point is you're getting 25 watt fast charging, which is nice to see based on the wire. There is no wireless charging. There is a scratch resistant glass here. I'm not sure if it's Gorilla Glass, but again, I'll have to look that up. But overall, this is a very good phone for the value. This was a top selling phone back in 2024 for Samsung, and it still sells well now. You go into Walmart, walk in, you get yourself a $39 smartphone. Just don't tell anybody, but you get a nice smartphone for $39 that has 5G connectivity. Yeah, it's running last year's chipset, but who cares? You're getting a decent, nice, heavy display. It feels good. It is made of plastic, but it's nice. And it looks like you're carrying around maybe a Galaxy S23 or S24. You really couldn't tell based on the case on here. At the bottom, you got Type-C charging, again, capable of 25 watts. You are getting a headphone jack, which we don't see on the A16, and you're getting a mono speaker at the bottom. At the top, your microphone right there. You do have a fingerprint reader right here, volume rocker on the side, and this does not have compatibility for eSIM, so you're stuck with nano SIM technology, which is fine. It is a 5G smartphone. There is a Galaxy A15 4G model, 4G LTE model, just a standard one, and that has the same MediaTek chipset as well. And it's very capable. It actually gets higher Geekbench numbers than this one for some reason. This has the 5G modem inside it, but gives you the exact same chip, but for some reason the Geekbench numbers aren't as high. This comes around 690. Sometimes you can get close to 700, and then single core is around 690, and your multi-score numbers can be around 1,200. So not terrible, not the worst phone we've ever seen. You will get Wi-Fi calling if you're using AT&T network. You get NFC on here, which is great. The cameras really aren't that bad. The 50 megapixel camera right here. You do have your 2 megapixel micro and your 5 megapixel ultra wide, which is nice to see. Front facing camera is 13 megapixel. Now with the 50 megapixel is basically 12 megapixels. You have to go in the settings and you have to turn on the 50 megapixel itself. There is RAM boost, so if you need additional RAM, you will notice your phone slow down though. So I don't know if RAM boost is the best thing. Buy a micro SD card, can support up to 1 terabyte. So just be aware of that. So what are we going to say about this phone? I think this is the better deal. If you're looking for something under $50, right around $50, give or take, this is a hell of a deal. You've got 3 more years of software updates, which is nice to see. They're promising 5 years of software updates, 4 to 5 years. And if you go with the A16, that's even better. You're going to get another 5 years. So this is giving you 3 more years. That's great to see from Samsung on a nearly 2-year-old smartphone. You got One UI 8, you got Android 15, you'll get Android 16, 17, and 18, which is nice to see. So that's nice. Right now we're on Android 15, but that's okay. An update for Android 16 is coming soon for this. And you are going to get 5G connectivity. Now, the only downfall is if you can deal with 64 gigs of internal storage. That's what they give you on here. It's okay. It's not a bad phone. Good call quality overall on AT&T. The internet is pretty fast on here thanks to the 5G Plus. And overall, I've had no issues. Battery life is really, really solid. It gets to 800 nits of brightness. It's very good, actually. And if I had to compare this, choose this over the Motivate Pro 2 5G, I would tell most people to buy this. Yes, it's $39 on some carriers like Straight Talk. You can get it on Metro for $39. But for $50 and $49 and some tax, this is still a really, really solid phone. You're getting 5G connectivity. You are getting a Snapdragon 6. No, it's not a Snapdragon. MediaTek Dimensity 6100 Plus chipset. So that's a very good chipset. It's lower end 5G, but you're still getting decent numbers. You can game with this, no problem. Turn the settings down. You can still game with this phone. Most apps run just fine. You got 90 hertz refresh rate. Yes, would the A16 be a better deal? Yeah, but this is still a very well-rounded phone for $30. Plain and simple, you can't really go wrong. Super AMOLED display, 800 nits of brightness, NFC. It's really kind of a no-brainer. No stereo speakers, no water and dust resistance. There is a scratch resistant on here, but we're not really sure what it claims to be. Overall, this phone here does get a pass by me. I believe this is a very decent, rounded phone. Going over the specs again, Samsung Galaxy A15 5G. 6.5-inch Super AMOLED display. So again, FHD Plus stands for 1080p resolution. You are getting a glass resistant. You are getting a triple camera setup here. That is a 50 megapixel standard camera. That is also 5 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 megapixel micro camera. Capable of 1080p 30 frames per second. That's it. You're not going to find too many 4K phones in that price range. You may get slightly better cameras on the Motivate 2. That's just me saying that. 13 megapixel selfie camera. Not bad. Again, up to 64 gigs of internal storage. That's not going to be available thanks to heavy. The reason why this phone does lag a little bit sometimes is One UI is a very heavy software. If you put the Google Pixel third party, if you put the Pixel, basically the Pixel, if you go online, go to your Google Play Store, download the Pixel launcher, this phone will run a lot faster. So anybody using this phone, look at the Pixel launcher. It'll turn off the One UI software, and the phone will run a lot better. Actually, about twice as good as what it does on here. And you'll get 90 hertz refresh rate. You'll be able to feel that 90 hertz. Less lag, which is nice on the Pixel launcher. One UI is a bit much for these A15